You know, it's funny. You, it's not funny. you, I heard about the Nintendo stuff, about them siphoning revenue off of, Let's Play videos on YouTube. I think I saw that on, I think I must have heard that on Giant Bomb's Friday show. It's funny, you know, I went over it a bunch of times. Again, it's not funny, fuck. I went over it a bunch of times. I had a shower because I want to do webcam, and that's a good way to go about that. And it was, I mean, I went over it a bunch of times in my head, and eventually I got everything right, and I'm sitting down now, and it all feels distant, way more distant. But whatever. I guess my thought process on this is probably not have a huge standing on what the actual issue is, and it is a huge fucking issue. Jesus. I guess what I wanted to say about this is that something like this is it doesn't have the kind of sympathy I would have thought it would. You know, I went on, did a Google search as soon as I heard about this, just to try and figure out, you know, what was up. At a point, all I knew about it was a Nintendo Let's Play thing. Something going on with Nintendo. Sorry. And it was, I went on GameSpot. GameSpot? IGN. Would have been IGN. You know, I'm talking about the their dumb viewership tweets and Facebook, and just asking what people thought about this. And, you know, at first there was a poll saying most people say no, Nintendo obviously shouldn't be taking the ad revenue of people who play their fucking games. But then it was just constant tweets back of people just saying that whatever, you know, fuck these people. People who do Let's Plays. I don't care. Not me. This hypothetical person. I don't care. Therefore, X equals fuck them. And it's a real bummer, because you think that people in the gaming community, you feel like there's been a lot of I remember on Polygon, you know, not long ago, there was the big, or there's been a lot of talk in general, I guess, about empathy games Might have been on Giant Bomb. And you feel like the whole culture, we have these talks about, what is a game, and people say, oh, it doesn't really matter. What's important is not to talk about what games aren't, talk about what games are, all sorts of shit like that. It's not shit, it's super important, super useful, especially if you're a game designer. And you feel like, or at least I feel like that there's a real growing period right now, right? Like games are always growing. Gaming culture is always growing, or at least changing. It's probably been growing pretty incrementally, I feel like. Whatever the highest COD Black Ops is selling, I guess that's the bank from which we can draw how much growth has been in the industry. Don't do that. That's a bad metric. It's got to be a useful metric for some things. Anyway, but this is so big. Maybe it's not so big. Maybe it's just big to someone like me. But that is a real blow to what gaming culture is a culture for. Like, the game. That's what I mean. Gaming. This culture came off really like evangelist. This culture. The culture that surrounds gaming develops and feeds back into gaming. Feeds off and then feeds back into. It's a whole human centipede type deal of culture. I guess human centipede is kind of a human centipede of culture. Gross. So when you go into the culture and you say something like one of these sites that are devoted to the culture, fucking whatever that means. When you go into one of these sites and you say it doesn't matter, well, it totally does. Like, you're taking away the money of an artist, and I know that we haven't had the story that follows after this saying how much revenue somebody has lost off of this, or something extreme, but I don't want to say it's a bad precedent, because it's always like, I don't know, just complain when the thing is actually bad. But that's pretty bad, I think. That's stealing someone's work. Like, if Nintendo was cracking down and just getting rid of this stuff, then it would be fine. It wouldn't be great, but it would be normal in a sense. That is what these sorts of things run into all the time. I remember two best friends, the Switcher, I believe they had to take down an entire playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 4. Like, this stuff happens, I don't feel like all the time, but it happens. But it's worse, I think, to leave up what somebody's made and to just siphon off money that that is nothing to Nintendo. Like, it's literally saying, I want you to put in the work. I want to get out what you have done for us. You know, it's not a problem with showing the content. Clearly, it's not that. Because if it was, they'd just try to get rid of the content. We don't want anybody to spoil Luigi's Mansion for themselves, so we'll take down the Let's Play, but it's not that. It's just... that's real bad. That's one of those... that's a real corporate kind of evil thing to do to somebody. It's like, why? If it was to preserve the intellectual property or the marketing message or whatever, you take the stuff down. But stealing somebody's money, Jesus. That's pretty fucking evil. That's really... that's evil.